What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Jurisco coming at you guys with another video, boys. And today, fellas, we're gonna be talking about 5 things that worked in Madden 22 the yard that will not work in Madden 23 the yard. And this is for both current gen and next gen. So these gameplay changes are something you need to know. So let's go hop into it. Now, if you guys haven't already, make sure you drop a like, comment, and subscribe, fellas. Doing those 3 things will go a long way. Help your boy out a lot. So go and take care of that. And also, make sure you guys turn on that bell notification so you guys don't miss anything Madden 23. Also, boys, if y'all don't know, we are getting a copy of Madden 23, the All Madden Edition. So if you guys do want to enter, I have a link to it in the description or in the comments below. It takes 2 seconds. It's real easy. And you can enter even if you're on Xbox or PlayStation. So definitely, you want to make sure you want to enter. All right, boys, now before we do hop into this list, I want to kind of explain what this list is. So what this list is, like I said, 5 things that worked in Madden 22 the yard that will not work in Madden 23 the yard. So what does that mean? This means that the stuff I'm going to be talking about is basically not as good in Madden 23 or just not even a thing at all in Madden 23 the yard. That's what that basically means. It's either not as good or it's just not a thing at all. It's not going to be anywhere in the game, basically. So also keep in mind, boys, this is not all the gameplay changes and additions coming to Madden 23. This list is, like I said, with the OP and meta stuff that was in 22 that will be changed for Madden 23. That's what this list is about. So if you guys want to know like all of the gameplay changes, like the perks, the build system, and all that type of stuff, I have it somewhere on the screen. Look at my previous videos. We have a whole playlist on, our Madden 23, news, info videos and stuff like that. Make sure you guys check those videos out because, like I said, there's a lot of stuff coming to the game, and you definitely need to know about it. All right, boys, so now it's gonna hop into the list, boys. So at number 1, boys, we have throwing with non-quarterback builds. Now, I already know there's a good amount of community that hates. They absolutely hate how you can do the double passes behind the line. They hate how you can throw 50 million times behind the line, back and forth between you and your teammates. A good amount of community hates it. I already know. I've seen it a bunch of times in my comments. I already know. So if you do hate it, this is going to be something that you're going to like for Madden 23. So basically, what EA did was they basically made, if you're not a quarterback in Madden 23 the yard, if you're not a quarterback build at all, you're going to be really, and I mean really bad at throwing the ball. Like, no matter if you're behind the line, no matter if you're trying to throw a 10-yard dot, it doesn't matter. You are going to suck at throwing the ball. It's going to happen. We noticed it a lot in the beta. It might get, buffed a little bit for when the game comes out, but during the beta, you suck. If you were not a quarterback, you sucked at throwing the ball. Whenever you tried to throw the ball behind the line, it always went to the dirt. It was always some inaccurate pass, because there would be sometimes in Madden 22 where you were a moonshot wide receiver, something like that, and you had Darius Smith and Aaron Donald breathing down your neck, literally tackling you. You were still able to throw a good pass behind the line of scrimmage to like your quarterback or something like that. Do not expect this for Madden 23. I think EA is going to keep it that way, where you're not able to throw really good at all behind line of scrimmage or down the field. Now, keep this in mind though, there is a way that you can fix it or like kind of upgrade your throwing as a wide receiver. So when you get to like a certain overall, I think it was like 95 overall. When you get to a certain overall, you can get yard boost. Yes, you heard me right. You can get yard boost. We talked about this before in previous videos. You can get yard boost that will upgrade a certain, out of position stat. So like if you're a wide receiver, you can upgrade your throw power to the minimum of a quarterback. You can upgrade your hit power to the minimum of a linebacker. So you can do stuff like that and upgrade your player in that way, but you have to get to a certain overall, and you have to choose. It's not you can get all of them. You can't get all the boosts. You can only choose one boost that you can have to your player. So you can't have that throw power and that hit power. It's not going to work like that. You can only choose one. Now next up, boys, at number 2 we have the 50-50, aka the jump balls. So let's go and do a little context, a little background for people who don't know. In Madden 22, basically, that was the year for the moonshot. That was the year for the moonshot. Moonshot was OP because he was one of the fastest built, on top of you being able to moss every freaking body and they mama. You were able to moss people no matter what. It was just too OP. And the reason because of this was because, one, you had deep in and deep out, that basically allows you to hang on to those 50-50 balls most of the time. And then along with the cornerbacks, their ability to match it and knock those passes out, it was glitched. It was a glitched ability, so it didn't work. So basically 22, it was just OP. It was running rampant. It was crazy. But for Madden 23, this is going to be heavily, and I mean heavily, nerfed. So the reason why this is going to be so nerfed is because they made the DBs way better. First thing is they made sure their coverage stats actually mattered. I noticed that in the beta, their coverage stats are actually like helping, you know, those knockouts, you know, and all that type of stuff for those type of situations. Also on top of that, they have abilities that actually work. We already tried it in the beta, and they have 2 abilities that actually go with, you know, the deep balls base. They go for, you know, they're made for the deep balls, so they're definitely going to have, you know, knockout abilities that match with, you know, the deep in and deep outs of the world. They're gonna match those wide receivers so that, you know, they're not running rampant and just mausing people every freaking play. The DBs will actually have a chance at actually winning a 50-50 for the most part. Now they actually have a good chance, unlike last year. And also on top of that, EA, they did come out and say that they did fix interceptions for Madden 23, so you're not gonna be getting a lot out of reach and, you know, just weird animations at DB. On top of, also, if you're on next gen, they did literally add a gameplay feature called mid-air knockouts that's gonna help with, you know, those jump balls and those 50-50 mid-air collisions. Is gonna help, you know, get those knockouts a lot more. So I'm telling you right now, jump balls are gonna be like, they're gonna be a thing still, but they're not gonna be as OP as in 22. And now getting into number 3 on the list, boys, we have stacking OP abilities. And I mean, good God, was this a thing in Madden 22? In Madden 22, you were able to stack, you know, once again, going back to what we just talked about, the deep ends, the deep outs, you were able to stack all those, you know, really good abilities together and basically make a demigod or just an OP build. That will not be a thing in Madden 23, and the reason why it won't be is because basically what EA did was they locked certain, you know, abilities to certain slots. So let's just say, for example, you want to be a wide receiver. Basically what they did was they put deep in and deep out in the same slot, so you have to pick and choose which one you want. You can't have both at the same time. They made sure that they want to make sure that you're not stacking these OP abilities on top of each other and just being a freaking god out there. So that's what they did. They made sure, like I said, you can't have a bunch of OP abilities on at the same exact time. So like I said, it was a thing in Madden 22. Do not expect it for Madden 23. And now at number 4 on the list, boys, we have human joystick and escape artists. Y'all already know we had to talk about it. Ooh wee! They got removed from Madden 23. Yes, you heard me right. If y'all don't know already, if y'all haven't looked at the previous videos, escape artists and human joystick will not be abilities in the game. So the reason why I put this one on the list is because, like I said, these were OP in Madden 22. These are, you know, top 3 abilities in Madden 22 that will not be in Madden 23. And this is going to be a huge change because, one, in Madden 22, if you are a quarterback with escape artists, you're able just to run in circles, just run around linemen, run around blocks, just run around people behind the line of scrimmage with the escape artists. And it was definitely OP. It was something that really shouldn't have been in the game. Escape artists should be basically something built into your quarterback, but not as OP like how it was, you know, like where you're basically able to outrun anybody behind the line and like glitch out CPUs. It's just how it should work is if your player is fast, he should run his speed behind the line of scrimmage. You shouldn't get no extra boost behind the line of scrimmage. That's not how it should be, and that's how it was for 22. So for Madden 23, it's not an ability at all. It's not going to be in the yard at all. It's just not an ability in the game. So that's one for escape artists. And then number 2, human joystick. This was, I mean, good God almighty, this was insane. This was an insane ability for current gen. I know it really wasn't a thing for next gen, but for current gen, it was insane. It was so good as an ability. And like I said, this will not be in Madden 23 yard either. It will not be in 23 yard at all. Now, it will kind of be a little bit because 23 yard, there is grab and go. Grab and go will still be an ability. I've seen it. It's still an ability in 23. So, like I said, this is probably not going to make a difference for next gen, but it will definitely be a thing for current gen. Current gen, you know, it's definitely going to benefit, but for some reason, because the movement on next gen, it doesn't work on next gen. Basically, it's just not a thing. You really can't upgrade your, you know, your movement on next gen. Grab and go being a thing, it still hurts the player because, like I said, you have to be either a wide receiver or a running back. You know, catch the ball out the backfield or catching the ball down the field. You have to be catching the ball. Quarterbacks are not going to be able to take advantage of, you know, this grab and go because, you know, they're a quarterback, so they're not gonna be able to, you know, have that extra, you know, boost of movement and stuff like that. So like I said, it's gonna be a huge change for 23. And now, boys, at the last spot on the list at number 5, we have hit sticks and diving warp tackles. Now let's go ahead and do a little bit of context really fast. You already know what the deal is. So in Madden 22, the reason why I want to say, you know, hit sticks and stuff, because in Madden 22, even if you were a light speed, even if you were a moonshot, these are builds that did not get a hit power, stat upgrade. You couldn't upgrade their hit power, but in 22, you were still able to hit stick pretty well. Like if you lined it up pretty well, you were able to hit stick pretty good still. You were able to still get some fumbles. It still happened. It didn't happen a lot, but it's definitely still happened. But I'm telling you guys right now, in Madden 23, you will need that hit stick upgrade. And also they did, if y'all don't know already, they did, they basically added a thing where there's like pros and cons to every single build, and literally to the quarterback, cons, that if you're a quarterback, doesn't matter what type of build you make, no matter what you are, if you're a quarterback build, they literally made to where a con is you can't hit stick at all. Like if you try to hit stick somebody, you're gonna just bounce off of them every single time. So it probably won't be like that exactly straight up. You're probably gonna be getting like, a hit stick out of every 10, maybe out of every 10 or 2. They're probably gonna make sure that's actually like a thing for Madden 23 when it drops. In the beta, it wasn't kind of like that, but I'm pretty sure when the game drops, it will be a thing. So I'm telling you guys right now, if you're gonna be a quarterback, a wide receiver, if you're gonna be, running back, do not expect to be, hit sticking dudes out the stadium. Do not be expecting to, cause a fumble or, all that type of stuff every time you try to hit stick. It's not gonna happen. Telling you guys right now, and I'm telling you also that linebackers and cornerback, that get that upgradable tackle and hit power and stuff, they're gonna be definitely good at it. They're gonna definitely get a boost, and I mean a huge boost to their hit sticks and stuff like that, because they can upgrade that stuff. Also on top of that, really fast, I want to also talk about the diving warp tackles. So we all know, last year you were able to dive and warp tackle all around the field. It was some nasty stuff going on, but it was a thing in the game in 22. But for 23, boy, when I tell y'all, you cannot warp tackle, I'm telling you right now, you cannot warp tackle. So essentially, do not be, pressing X or spamming X when you're, 7,000 feet away and expecting to make a tackle just because you dove and, you're hoping to get a tackle. No, it's not going to work like that. You actually have to be pretty close to the person to get a dive tackle, and just warp tackles in general, they're not. You don't just warp onto people. You don't get some nasty warp animation and tackle the person when you didn't, earn that tackle. No, you have to actually be, in the vicinity of the person. You have to actually be lined up, squared up. You have to be, like I said, next to the person, or actually trying to get that tackle if you want to actually make the tackle. You can't just, like I said, just do whatever and get warped into them. No, it's not going to be like that. They made sure they strived away from that for 23. So like I said, you definitely want to make sure you're actually, close to a person when you're trying to make tackles in 23. But that's it for the video, boys. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about all this down below in the comments below. Make sure you drop a like, comment, and subscribe for more videos just like this one. And until next time, peace.